My name is Paul Santerre. I'm from the University of Toronto, president of the World Biomaterials Congress and chair for the Sponsorship and Advertising Committee. This particular meeting is personally very exciting to have the privilege actually to be involved in creating such a meeting which has great impact for the community of biomaterials worldwide. It's been a phenomenal privilege to work with representatives for all the different societies, to listen to how they want to grow, how they want to use this meeting to enable them to achieve their goals for the next generation of the training of the next generation of scientists who will be here, who will not only have a chance to present their own work, but to network with the world experts to see where the field is going and to share with us their vision of creativity for the next ideas, keeping our ideas young, enabling more senior people to change it up and enable them to achieve their goals. We're entering a period of economic development in the area of healthcare in which our countries are pretty much bankrupting their economies by bankrolling healthcare well into the levels of 12 to 20% of their national GDPs. It is unsustainable, and really dramatic changes in technology are the only thing that are going to bring this about. And one of the contributors to that transformation in technology is going to be the field of biomaterials. The developments that are occurring in the area of regenerative medicine, nanotechnology, diagnostic tools, anti-infectives are all components that have huge potential for increasing the effectivity of therapies in the field while driving costs down, because the engineering concepts that are engendered within the field of biomaterials are not only create something new, but create something that is reproducible on mass scale, deliverable to very large population bases in order to minimize and mitigate the impacts on economy and make the lives of people better around the world. This is what gets me up in the morning and excites me so much about what you're doing. Yeah, well, that's key and instrumental. I think we learn in a very different way than we learned in the 70s and 80s when I was coming through on a trainee period. Knowledge bases are moving so fast, and this is a very interdisciplinary field. That knowledge moves fastest and the best when you can be standing around a biologist and a clinician and an engineer in the same spot. Not all scientists have the luxury of having that around them. Some schools have, the arts and sciences campus isolated 2 kilometers from the engineering campus, and some of these schools don't even have a medical school. This meeting is an opportunity for the scientists to come and to be exposed to all those different skill sets. Now, it's one thing to bring them all here, but your program has to be more than just science and listening. You have to create the venues that enable that dialogue. So whether it is a personalized meeting setting with very sophisticated app tools that the attendees to the meeting can start creating dating experiences 2 to 3 months before they even arrive here, or something on a more group-like level, such as the Lunch and Learns that we've created, where we have opportunities to have the lunch there for the individual, and they just need to literally show up and pick a topic of interest and have an expert, a key opinion leader, sit around the table and discuss with them those particular topics, whether it's from getting your own education program going, or commercializing a device, or learning the latest and greatest in microscopy technologies. It's there for you, all prescribed in individual blocks. If you want something at a much more greater level, or if you're in need of mentorship on any particular area, we have created mentor events around a co-curriculum for trainees, as well as having given the opportunity for our more senior and seasoned investigators to perhaps begin the exercise of translating or thinking about how their technology could be translated into manufacturing, into product, and out the clinic door, and teaching the ABCs and how to network in order to achieve that. All of that is here, introduced in a timely manner throughout the program in an element that we would call learning capsules, where we've gone through these 5 days of these programs and pulled out all the elements and put them in nice sequence to each other, demonstrating that they're not overlapping, so the individual can literally flow through and exit this conference with a package that is very, very comprehensive to allow them to achieve their dreams, their visions, and make their contributions to this particular field going forward. So the introduction of the workshops actually is about 20 years old. First time workshops were introduced at a World Biomaterials Congress was in Toronto in 1996, and ever since then they've been introduced as learning tools, modules that can't fit in within the normal confines of a scientific session, but are important add-ons, complementary features. So for instance, one of the key workshops recognizes the area of regen medicine. One of the biggest challenges of regen medicine for the past 15 years is how do you get something that originally, in its original concepts, was very complex to reproduce and mass produce and whatnot. We have one of the world's leading networks on commercialization of regenerative medicine that is going to be here giving a workshop showing how they have introduced new technologies for applications in diagnostics, research tools, very early product concepts that will lead to growing much more complex, effective tools. Workshops on the next generation and the key importance of becoming self-learners, self-trainers, and creative thinkers. We have a full day of workshops built around those elements. And then in key areas that are emerging, rapid individualized manufacturing of prototypes through rapid manufacturing technologies and workshops on the merging of biology with materials. We now come to conceive and realize that biology is actually an analytical tool defining our biomaterial much in the same way that we would use some kind of classical spectroscopy equipment to tell us our material is crystalline or not crystalline. We now use biology to tell us how the cell in the body is going to interact with the material. And so a workshop introducing the community who still needs to implement those biological tools into their lab programs, the opportunity to do so, and then to see the real applications of it throughout the next 5 days at the meeting really creates a very complementary package for them. Yeah, well, I mean, very critical again in this current day and age. Not only the healthcare budgets are ballooning and out of control, but because they're ballooning and out of control, this has put huge constraints on other components of society. One of those components is the funding of engineering and science research within our universities. It has now become a reality, a recognized reality that the average researcher to succeed will have to be much more creative in where their research dollars comes from. And in fact, most countries have pretty well demanded of their investigators to be a contributor, net contributor to the economies, the companies that are evolving out of those economies and those jurisdictions. So they have created many programs that are that combine the strength and knowledge base of universities as components that will enable the creativity of the next product for companies who know how to manufacture it. So you have the best of both worlds. You have groups who know how to manufacture product, market product, and talk to the clients. And you have universities who know how to create knowledge, dream, innovate, execute, and bring about those dreams in reality on the bench. And the opportunity is here to emerge. So through our workshops, through our clinic to bench, through our round tables, we have created real asset tools that will enable that and be very successful.